Tonight, let's tell a story for anyone who has ever felt a little broken, a little lost in the dark. This is the boy who learned to love again. He grew up in a house that never truly felt like home. He didn't remember his real mother's voice. He didn't remember her smile or the warmth of her touch. All he knew were stories, faded pieces of her, carried by relatives, whispered like memories he never got to keep for himself. Instead, he grew up with a stepmother. Now, she wasn't cruel, but she wasn't warm either. She fed him. She clothed him, she kept him alive, but she never held him the way a mother holds her child. She never looked at him with that soft, unconditional light in her eyes. And so he learned a difficult lesson far too early. Love is something other people get. It wasn't for him. As a child, he watched other kids run into their mother's arms after school let out. He watched them get their foreheads kissed when they scraped a knee. He saw them being comforted, their tears wiped away by a gentle hand. He learned to wipe his own tears. He learned to swallow his sadness and pretend he was fine. He learned to grow up much faster than any child ever should. At night, when the house was quiet and dark, he would lie in his bed, staring at the ceiling, and whisper into the silence, "Why didn't she stay? Why didn't anyone choose me?" The questions hung in the air, but an answer never came. The silence was his only reply. By the time he was a teenager, he had become an expert at hiding his pain. He built a wall around his heart, brick by brick. He learned to laugh loudly, a sound that echoed just enough to drown out the quiet ache inside him. He acted strong, unbreakable, so no one could see how fragile he truly felt. People would often say he was mature for his age, but they didn't understand maturity that is built from pain isn't a gift, it's a scar, a constant reminder of the battles fought alone. Throughout those years, he held on to a tiny sliver of hope. He kept hoping that one day his stepmother would finally see him, not just look at him, but really truly see the boy who was longing for a connection. But she never did. Her gaze always seemed to pass right through him, as if he were made of glass. At 25, something changed. He wasn't a child anymore. He wasn't a teenager trying to fit in. He was a grown man, navigating the world on his own. And yet, deep inside, he still felt like that little boy sitting on the steps, waiting for a love that never arrived. His stepmother grew even more distant, her presence colder, her neglect more profound than ever before. She didn't ask how he was, she didn't care if he had eaten. She didn't even notice when he stopped speaking altogether, retreating into a world of silence. And one night, sitting alone in his quiet room, the weight of it all came crashing down. The strength he had worn like armor for so long finally cracked. He whispered to the empty space, his voice trembling, "I'm so tired of being strong." For the very first time, he let himself cry. He cried for the boy who never got to be a child, for the teenager who hid his tears, and for the man who felt utterly alone. But in that moment of complete breaking, something shifted. As the tears fell, something inside him softened. A thought came to him, gentle and quiet, almost like a whisper carried on the night air. You were never alone. He started to remember. He remembered every moment he survived, every hardship he endured, every time he felt abandoned, yet somehow found the strength to keep going. He suddenly realized it wasn't his stepmother who had raised him. It wasn't the world that had protected him through all those lonely nights. It was Allah. Allah was the one who filled the empty spaces in his heart. Allah was the one who carried him through the nights he cried himself to sleep. Allah was the one who gave him strength when no one else did. And for the first time in his entire life, he felt a warmth spread through him, something he had never truly felt before. He felt loved. Not by people, but by the one who never leaves, the one who is closer to us than our own jugular vein. From that night on, his healing began. He stopped chasing love from people who were incapable of giving it. He stopped waiting for apologies that would never come. He stopped trying to earn an affection that was never his to have. Instead, he turned inward. He learned to love himself. He learned to forgive himself for feeling broken. He started to build the home inside his own heart that he never had growing up. And slowly, beautifully, he became the man he had needed all along when he was just a boy. He became his own light, his own comfort, his own safe harbor. And now, if you're listening to this story in the quiet of your room, with your own wounds, your own childhood pain, your own deep loneliness, please hear this. You were never unlovable. You were never forgotten. You were never truly abandoned. Allah was with you in every single moment you thought you were alone. He saw every tear. He heard every silent prayer. And the love you feel you didn't receive, you will learn to give it to yourself. You will one day give it to your future family. You will radiate it out into the world, turning your pain into a source of healing for others. Your story didn't break you, it built you. It forged you into the incredible, resilient person you are today. And one day, you'll look back on your journey and whisper with a heart full of peace, Allah was writing something beautiful all along. Thank you for listening.